So we have another Rax clip, well, another clip to review, to look through and do the PVM coaching thing. We're going to basically take a look, see if there's any advice that we can give, see if we can help you improve your kill times or just improve at PVM in general. Now, I'm going to take a look at the initial stuff straight away, but before we do get started, of course, as always, I am not claiming to be a pro PVMer. This is just people that have messaged me thinking that I can probably help out a little bit, and if so, then I will take a look at the clip, and if there's anything I can add, then hey, it becomes a video. And also, these are great because we get to take a look at this from a perspective of an actual player, rather than me just having to assume what people struggle with, just going off of what I struggled with. So we get to see things that I would never have thought of, and that's always good. So what we're going to do first of all is take a look at your inventory and your setup and stuff and your action bar, as we always do, and then we'll come back and go through everything from there. So the gear you've got at the moment, you've got Full Serenity, you've got Ascensions, you have an Essence of Finality, great to see, and then your inventory, you have Overload, you have your Renewal thing, I think this is also your Adrenaline Potion, so good to see too. You're using Vulnerability Bombs, love to see it. Unfortunately, Araxi, you can use Vuln Bombs on it, but he purges it off, so they kind of just wasted, but we'll talk about that too at some point. You do have the tier 95 curses, which is fine. Tier 99 is obviously more damage and stuff, but you got to get there, you got to pay for them, they're expensive. You have a Quiver, and you have a Saradomin book, cool. And then also you do have access to your defensives on screen. You're using Revolution, but not Revo++, so you are using your thresholds manually and your ultimates manually as well, nice to see, and you are using a Yak. That's like the main things we need to talk about, just to cover that stuff. You're using a Vampirism Aura. I will talk about this, but you probably want to be using a Accuracy Aura or a DPS Aura. We'll talk about that though, depending on seeing how it goes. I'll have to see the fight first, but we can do that judgment. Anyway, let's take a look at this and see how it all goes. So you are using an instance, of course, that is going to give you the one that you want to fight against all the time. Lovely looking override with your rainbow cape there. Getting the prayers on. I assume you will be protecting from magic though. And starting off with freedom, so lovely to see you using that nice and early, because of course you can get out of the mechanics. You're going to want to be rotating freedom, anticipate. What I would suggest you do though is, if you can, because you have a nice action bar at the bottom, try and keybind the anticipate and freedom. Then you'd have to move your mouse away, and you probably would have got that one there. Getting hit by a mechanic now and then, it's going to happen. I'm terrible at Rax at dealing with the mechanics because of I don't count the hits, right? If that's easier, then sure, but I just kind of do it by feeling the way I do it, which usually gets me killed by the webs there. So already you're doing better than me with that one. You're not overloaded, which you've just noticed, and I noticed at the exact same time. Probably a misclick. Another thing to keep in mind for everybody is when you're recording stuff like this, always adds pressure, so you will forget stuff. It's just the way it is. For example, using like your potions and stuff like that. So we didn't get a freedom then as well. So if you can keybind these on anything that's comfortable. So at the moment you are using, by the look of it, okay, using 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then so I'm assuming you don't have like a gamer mouse or something, which is fine. But what you could do is you could keybind your Anticipate and Freedom to Alt 1 or Shift 1 or whatever is more comfortable, and then Shift 2 and Alt 2. That way they're in the same comfortable position, but you can use Alt and Shift together, and it opens up that same comfortable keybind for you. So here you want to probably use Death Swiftness. Maybe you would surge forward and use Death Swiftness then though. Yeah, are you going to do that? Maybe? Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Okay, so your mechanics seem good. That's all I needed to know at this point. We don't necessarily need to look at just your mechanics. Your Revolution bar itself is good. Your Revolution bar is good. Lovely. So you've got your bleeds first, which is always good, because you don't want needle shot before your bleeds, as you probably know, because you've got it like that. You don't want needle shot before the bleeds because it doesn't affect bleeds, it affects everything else. So needle, snipe, and then all these basics. Perfect. Using needle shot manually before using your thresholds is something that is probably going to be useful too. I'll keep an eye out to see if you do that. So if you can needle shot and then use snapshot, for example, you will increase damage on both of those snapshot hits. You are using, it looks like you're camping Hydrix bolts. If you're camping Hydrix bolts, it's not a huge deal at Rax because of the fact that Ruby bolts don't do that much at Rax. They're not that good. You could probably use like Diamond for the extra accuracy or whatever it does to save yourself some money. That's if you want a bolt switch. Otherwise, Hydrix are fine. They're just really expensive. But that being said, you could also dump Dartbow. I'm going to assume there's a Dartbow in your Essence of Finality. It's the only thing I can think you would have in there, unless you have an SGB, but it's not on cooldown, so I would say no. And you could dump Dartbow like crazy if you're just camping Adrenaline bolts though. So you are using a Vampirism Aura, and you are bringing a Yak as well. Now, I know this is kind of going to sound like going from one extreme to the other, but what you could do here instead, and what I would suggest you doing is, because as you see, you are splashing now and then, and it is kind of hurting your kill time a little bit. You are doing good with your DPS, you're doing good with your rotations, What is holding you back, in my opinion, is the fact that you are not using accuracy boosts here. You are using a Vampirism Aura and you are using a Yak. Now, I think that if you used a accuracy or a DPS aura, especially since you're ignoring the spiders, this would help a lot with that too. Before we get into this last phase, I think if you use an accuracy aura, for example, Supreme Sharpshooter even, or Reckless ideally, and then brought either a Nihil or a Ripper Demon, it's still very debatable which is better. I would say if you're on Reckless, it is better to bring a Ripper Demon because it's going to increase you get the passive damage effect. If you are still splashing, then you bring a Nihil because you get more accuracy. You shouldn't be splashing though with a Reckless aura. If you're on normal accuracy aura, then yes, bring a Nihil as well. But having the extra accuracy is going to make you get way faster kill times, meaning you are going to use way less food because you're tanking for less time. And having the abilities, the defense abilities keybound as well, and getting used to using things like Devotion in between the fights too, will also reduce that amount of food. It will increase your kill time because you're not on a Yak and because you're not using Vampirism. And you may think, but in it, I need the extra health from Vampirism. If you get through this Raxi phase twice as quick because you're on a better aura and using a Nihil or a Ripper Demon, maybe not twice as quick, but a lot quicker, then you won't need as much food. So that's pretty much how that works. Also, I'd probably change your Rocktails to just Blubbers. You don't need that many Rocktails, and they cost Adrenaline anyway. So here, it looks like you're doing a pretty good job of just clearing off all the special spiders, and then moving on to killing a Raxi, and just ignoring the other ones. I'm going to assume you probably ignore the other ones. It looks... I know you're going to kill them. Okay, so what you could do here is, rather than killing those spiders there, just get him, or her, sorry, get a Raxi down below 50k and then kill these off, because that way they won't spawn another. She may spawn another wave now before 50k, maybe. No, you're okay. You're okay. But otherwise that could happen, especially if you're not on the acid path as well. And I don't even know what boots those are. Get fleeting boots. You want to get fleeting boots. You can use rapid fire and move. They're just best stats as well, I assume. I'm pretty sure they're best in slot, except for the upgraded fleeting boots. So definitely get fleeting boots. They're not too expensive these days, I don't think. They're probably maybe more than 7 mil, but yeah, definitely save up some fleeting boots. Looks like are you just camping Soul Split here? I think you might be. Okay. Wait, oh wait, you're not using an ECB Essence of Finality, are you? No. Okay, you're not, no. Yeah, you've just used it there. Okay, yeah, it's definitely a Dark Bow. So, because you're not using an ECB, you want to be prayer flicking these. I know that it's low in rage and you can just Soul Split, you can, but you want to prayer flick them because that way you get the practice in for when you get into higher enrages, and I think the point of this was so you could try and work towards higher enrage, right? So you definitely want to be prayer flicking these. So if you just go from magic to range, if you stand literally here, where the skeleton is, here, I think it's just here where the bones are, you will always get the perfect amount of time between your prayer flicks where it doesn't double up and screw you over. So just stand just between these bones and that skeleton there, and that's where you want to be. Otherwise, I mean, you've done it right, but look at this, right? You've killed the boss, it's dead, it's all done. Look at your Yak, man. Your Yak is absolutely thriving with food in there. You could feed a freaking village with that. Holy crap, that food is gonna last you weeks. So look at your inventory. You've barely eaten anything. You don't need the Yak. You don't need the Vampirism Aura. You did great. You do not need it. Get yourself a Reckless Aura or a Sharpshooter Aura, and get yourself a Nihil or a Ripper Demon. If you're on Reckless, Ripper Demon. If you're on normal Sharpshooter, then get a Nihil, and just go from there and see how it goes. I know it's going to be a little bit sketchy at first trying to do it, because you might think I'm going to run out of food, but you will notice that you will use less food. Use Devotion, use Debilitate, and eventually you won't even need those. Make sure you prayer flick on this last phase as well, especially as you push and rage up. But congrats on the personal record. You did great with this. Absolutely great. So that was a 5-minute 20 kill. With this gear on DPS Aura, you're probably going to knock a minute off, I reckon. Just add in the DPS Aura, you are. So you just need to set that confidence jump. You don't need to use Vuln Bomb here because it purges it off. I know you didn't use it until Raxi, because if we go back, you still had your 5, I believe. Oh, you did use it. When did you use it? Wait, where did that Vuln Bomb go? Wait, you have it here. You throw the Vuln Bomb. It's gone, but it's not anywhere. That is weird. But either way, your Vuln Bomb, if you put it on Rax, yes, it will apply for about 3 seconds or whatever, and then he'll purge it. So don't bother. It's just a waste. It's the only boss that you don't really want to use it on, I think. The same goes for Araxi as well. There's not loads I can say to this. You're doing a good job, and it's good to see that you're using your... wait, do you re-overload in this phase? No, you do. It's over here. You're doing a really good job. There's not loads for me to add apart from just the typical like upgrade your gear and stuff. Make the jump to a Reckless Aura. Make the jump to a DPS Familiar. Normal Familiars can't damage Araxi, so don't put scrolls in your Ripper Demon. It's just for the passive effect. That's all it's for. The same for Nihil. It's just for the accuracy. You don't want to splash. Otherwise, you did a good job. You phased the minions straight away and came over. That's good. You are using things like your Excalibur, for example, right now. You've got Adrenaline Potions. You've been using that as well. I'm going to assume you've got a Vigor, but it's passive. I'm going to assume you do. Yes, you do have the passive Vigor, so you don't need that. And, I mean, there's not loads for me to add. Use your defensive abilities more throughout the fight. Use Debilitate, use Devotion to reduce your food use, because it's not that high anyway. But because you're coming off those Familiars, of course you are. You're coming off Vampirism now. You're coming off of that using DPS auras. You will notice a difference in your food. Use your Devotion every now and again. That's pretty much it. You'll be fine. You could bring a Bolt Switch if you're comfortable with that. Your Death Swiftness use here is great. Spot on. Exactly what you want to do. You saw the spider, you moved. It's really good. Your reaction to this is... Oh, that was close as crap. Did you put a shield on for that? So I don't know if you know for this, because the way it was dealt with here, you very nearly died. What you can do, as soon as you see that web, instinctively put your shield on and use... I don't know, use Resonance. If you've only attacked once, use Resonance. If you've attacked many times, use Reflect. Or, yeah, use Reflect, because it'll reduce the damage. It doesn't do like a cascading thing. It doesn't like insta-kill you because it's reflected over and over again. That's not how it works. So you can reflect and reduce that damage, and you definitely want to. You definitely want to. You might know that already. It might have been this one time. Just little things I wanted to add. So your main thing is really going to be just those. Don't use Vuln Bombs. It's kind of funny to see you use Dread Nips. Yes, that will work here, and you do actually use it. So you can use them here if you wanted to. They'll do a bit of extra damage. They won't poison racks, but they will do damage. I think it's like 9k per Dread Nip. But otherwise, there's not much else to say. It is just going to be use your defensives. Keybind these. Keybind these defensives. Use Alt 1 and Shift 1 or Shift 2 and Alt 1, whatever you want to use. Get those keybind down there, as well as Devotion. Put a keybind on these. You've got Shift 2 and 3 here. Oh, you know this already. Okay, you want to keybind these. Use things like QWE, ASD, all that sort of stuff. I know it sounds like a lot. You're already using some of them. You're using ZXC and stuff. Use Alt D, Alt A, whatever's comfortable for you. Get those defensive keybound. They're important. Even if it's just the main ones like Resonance and stuff. But like I said, there's not loads for me to say. Get Fleeting Boots, which is just GP. You don't need Vuln Bombs. Use the Aura. Use the DPS Aura. Use the DPS Familiar. You will see a massive improvement. It sounds silly, but DPS equals less food. DPS equals more tankiness, I guess, in a way. Especially if you're soul splitting like this. You want to protect from magic. You're getting away with it because you're using Vamp Aura. When you're using a DPS Aura, you're going to want to use Protect from Magic for this. You just are. You may get away with it at this low in rage. As soon as you do like another 2 kills, you need to use Protect from Magic, and you need to be using your defensives. Having a look through, can't see anything else. It's just use your prayers, use your defensives, use your auras, use your different familiar, and that's pretty much it. There's not really much else I can say. So I appreciate you submitting this. This is actually a really good one for me to look at because there's not really much for me to cover. And holy crap, you got a spider leg middle as well. Did you purposely pick this clip because of this, or did you actually go and record one? Let me know. Grats, man. That's insane. That's so good. I'm glad. I'm actually really happy for you. What the hell? Anyway, thank you for submitting this. I appreciate it. I hope it helps. Let me know if it does. Follow up with me on Discord if you have any questions. Anyone else have any questions? If you want to send a clip to me for me to look at as well, send it to me on Discord. Just upload it to YouTube like this. Send it to Discord with a link, and I'll do that for you as well. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you to the channel members for your extra support. Appreciate it as always. And other than that, thank you everybody else watching too. And I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys.